Welcome to Bougie Eats, Episode 5. Today, we're going to be making a personal favorite of mine, spinach lasagna, also known as the old lasagna di spinaci, si. While perhaps unassuming, this is a preposterously superb dish of which there are four key elements. The tomato sauce, the body, comprised of the lasagna sheets and the spinach, and of course the cheese sauce to top it off and provide a nice crispy golden brown top. Look at that slow motion rotation of the lasagna, truly magnificent. You will need some extra virgin olive oil, a dash of dried oregano, a jar of passata cooking sauce, whatever brand, doesn't matter, 2 cloves of garlic, and half of 1 red onion, 25 grams of butter, 25 grams of flour, 300 mils of cold milk, 2 big handfuls of cheddar cheese, 1 packet of standard lasagna sheets, but if you can, make sure you get egg pasta sheets because they'll cook a lot better in this kind of lasagna. There's enough moisture in the spinach and everything else to actually cook those sheets, and they don't need pre-cooking. 2 big bunches of spinach or silverbeet. Righto, so we begin by dicing the Spanish onion up as finely as possible. Add 1 tablespoon of olive oil into the saucepan and heat that up until it's shimmering before adding the onions. And then stir that every so often over the course of about 6 or 7 minutes until the onions are really cooked through and starting to soften and become kind of translucent. After about 5-6 minutes, we're going to add in our garlic. So get a garlic crusher, put the 2 cloves in and crush that into the sauce. The garlic only needs probably 1 to 2 minutes max to cook alongside the onions before we're going to add the tomato sauce. Definitely, even if you need to put a timer on, just 2 minutes for the garlic on a low heat. Otherwise, the garlic's going to overcook and get all bitter and gross. So then once that's cooked through, you can add the tomato sauce, so straight in with the passata. We'll let that cook. Add our seasoning in the form of 1 teaspoon of oregano. And of course, at this point, as the sauce comes together, your internal dialogue is probably going to go something like, "Mamma mia, I make the pomodoro sauce." And that's perfectly okay. It's not a cause for alarm. It's not a cause for concern. Simply, we can just put the lid on a very low heat, get it up to a boil, reduce to a simmer, and let that simmer for about half an hour just to let those flavors get to know each other. While that's cooking away, we can prepare our spinach. So simply wash the spinach thoroughly, cut away the stems, and then cut these nice leaves here that you can see, because we're going to layer them on top with the pasta sheets and the pasta sauce, right? So it takes a little while, but of course you can do it while the tomato sauce is simmering away. So yeah. Once washed, give it a quick pat down with some paper towel, and you don't need to pat too hard because of course we're not actually pre-cooking our lasagna sheets because we're using egg pasta sheets. They will have enough moisture in there to cook, and of course the more moisture, the better kind of outcome you'll get with the lasagna sheets. Then we get to the layering process, so just a matter of tomato sauce on the bottom, pasta sheets next, spinach, pasta sheets, sauce, spinach, pasta sheets, sauce, spinach, pasta sheets, sauce, and then ultimately, of course, finishing off with a nice layer of a nice cheese sauce on the top. Yeah, that is the process. That's how it goes. Definitely don't do as I did here and overfill the lasagna to the point where you need to use home gym equipment to squish down the layers to make room for the cheese sauce. Definitely much easier to just leave ample space for the cheese sauce. Okay, onto the cheese sauce, guys. This part's a bit more labor intensive, very important to get right, and quite easy to get wrong if you don't follow the instructions. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the roux, giving us the white sauce, if you will. Adding cheese to that will give us the cheese sauce that we'll use on top of the lasagna. So in goes 1 knob of butter, flour. Cook the butter and the flour together until a sort of doughy consistency forms, as you can see here. Keep stirring with a wooden spoon. Keep the milk in the fridge until you're ready to use it, because if the milk's cold when it hits the roux, it's much less likely to get lumpy. So don't leave it out and allow the milk to come up to room temperature, because that will definitely result in a lower quality sauce, I would say. Add 100 mils, so the first third of the cold milk straight in, and keep stirring that around and cook it through. At this point, you want to switch from a wooden spoon to a whisk. At this point, add the remaining 200 mils of milk. So first 100 mils of milk with the wooden spoon, then switch to a whisk when adding the remaining milk slowly while stirring vigorously. Keep stirring as you slowly drip in the milk, as you can see as I'm doing here. Take your time with it and it will reward you in the form of nice, soft, velvety, smooth cheese sauce. It's something that you don't want to rush and something that you definitely want to keep stirring very vigorously. Look at the way that cheese sauce is dripping off the end of the whisk. It's kind of like honey, you know, it's not too watery and kind of also not too thick and just sort of flows down nicely. That's what you want. Once you have a nice sauce that you're happy with, add salt and pepper. And of course, at this point, also add the cheese. So I added cheddar cheese here. You don't need to have it on a high heat because the sauce is already so hot that the cheese is going to melt kind of its own accord. So just keep stirring and let the process ensue. And at that point, you'll be ready to top the lasagna with the nice delicious cheese sauce that we have created. But as you can see, I sort of decided that the sauce was a little bit too thick with all that cheese in there. So feel free, as I've done here, to add a little bit of cold milk at the end as well and whisk that. You can bring the consistency back down, thin it out a little bit. Sweet, so top the lasagna with the cheese sauce that we've made and then put some kind of a barrier over the top of the lasagna tray, so aluminium foil. Cover the baking dish and bake at 180 degrees Celsius for 45 minutes, but take off the cover in the last 10 minutes to get a nice, delicious, crispy, golden brown top. Not gonna lie, I low-key make this probably once a month. There you go. Done. Lasagna for days. Holy shit. It's fantastic. Love it. Get it in your gob. It's bougie. Everyone's going to be like, oh, mate, it's a lasagna. Where's the meat? And then you can just say, hey, try my spinach lasagna. You know, then let's have a chat. Trust me on this. Does not need the meat. A beautiful meal on its own. Delights every time. Truly magnificent. Hope you guys have a crack at the recipe and enjoy. And catch you in the next episode.